What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Picks and Roll DFS. Yesterday, we went 2-2. Tough break with Tina Charles not seeing the floor in the second half, and Alicia Gray had her minutes minimized right before the playoffs. Tonight, we're pivoting to NFL. Only one WNBA game has lines available, so we're diving into Packers Commanders instead. Let's lock in some plays and keep building that roll. Quick bankroll reminder. Before we jump in, make sure you're tracking every bet you place. I use Pikkit to see my profits, losses, and ROI in real time. It's free to sign up and helps you stay disciplined with your bankroll. Link down below with my code. Let's go to pick one. We're going to go with Austin Ekeler, higher than 46.5 rush plus receiving yards. Now, we only have, in terms of this season, only 1 week of data to look at, which is a very small sample size. So for now, we still have to use the data from 2024 as our guide for our decisions for tonight. Now, first thing we want to look at, as always, are the lines. Right now, I have the wrong ones on the screen for you at 49. It should be 46.5. Right, because that is our line here, as we can see, 46.5 rush plus receiving yards. And we can see that this is favored at Bet365 at minus 115. Hard Rock has it at minus 115. And BetMGM has it at minus 118. We can also see that since yesterday morning, this line has moved significantly. It opened at 46.5, and since then has jumped all the way up to 49.5, and is now back down to 46.5. So we want to make sure that we're jumping on the opportunity to get it at the 46.5 while we can, because it could jump up again. And those 3 yards do make a big difference. Now, if we're looking at last year's data, we can see that Ekeler has cashed this line 11 out of 15 games for a 73% rate. Overall, he has averaged 60-plus combined yards last season. Additionally, we can see that Green Bay's defense overall, if we see on the right, has allowed over 120 yards to running backs per game. And they ranked bottom 10 versus the run and bottom 3rd versus running back receiving yards, as we can see there. Receiving yards are currently favorable for us at that's ranked 27th. And then rushing yards they're ranked 8th, which is a bit unfavorable. But keep in mind, we have smaller sample size 2024. Now, even at a modest workload, this 46.5 is just too low. And that is why I believe Austin Ekeler will easily clear this number. If you're digging into hit rates, splits, and projections, I use Outlier to find my edges every day. If you want to join me, use code DIME and you'll get a free trial. Let's go to pick 2, which is going to be Carrington Valentine going lower than 3.5 tackles plus assists. Again, looking at last year's data, we can see that he is going below this line 13 out of 16 games for an 81% rate. He averaged just 2.3 overall during that span, staying under this number again for 13 out of 16 games. Then we want to look at how Washington runs the ball versus passes. And we can see that overall, they have passed the ball a lot, but they also have a pretty high run rate. And based on their scheme, it doesn't really funnel tackles toward the corners. We can also see that the books are largely favoring this play. We have BetMGM at minus 120. We can see a plus EV play here at Bet365. So if this is something that you use, this would be a great opportunity to get a plus EV. Hard Rock Bet minus 120. Caesars at minus 141. And DraftKings at minus 147. And then we're looking at Underdog, which has that minus 169. This is telling you that this is a sharp side, which is why I'm riding with the under here. By the way, if you're new to sports betting and want to tell these plays, Betr is running a promo. You get a free $10 just for signing up, plus a 50% deposit match up to $200. Use code DIME and email me your screenshot for a free month of my VIP picks. Plus, if you sign up today, you'll also get a Jaden Daniels free pick, where he only needs to have more than a half passing yard. You pair that with just one of your favorite plays from today's video, and you're already on your way to building your row. Last play for today. Now, there are two options for this. I'm just going to show you one. I'll tell you about the other in a moment. I have Josh Jacobs going over 91.5 rushing plus receiving yards. As we see here, this play is not available on many platforms, many sports books. You only see BetMGM at minus 115 and Hard Rock Bet at minus 115. And then Underdog, where we're looking, is at minus 120. We can also see this line has been going up and down over the last day or so. We can see it open at 88.5. Where if we're playing it over at 91.5 and we chose this line early at 88, we would have a really solid play. We would have 3 yards of buffer to play with. We can see that this line has also jumped all the way up to 95.5 at one point. So we want to make sure that we're getting some sort of edge, some sort of advantage, which this 91.5 is pretty solid, and you'll see why in a minute. As we can see in the data from, let's look at last year, Jacobs averaged almost 100 yards combined, rush plus receiving, and then a median over 100 at 105. He cashed this line 12 out of 18 games for a 67% rate. We can also see that the pass versus run rate emphasizes a little bit more on the run. And when we look at Washington's defense, especially against running backs, receiving yards, they are 1, but rushing yards, they're in the bottom tier. Now, Jacobs could have a solid rushing game, and that can dominate the majority of these stats and lead us still over this line of 91.5. However, he is heavily used in both the rushing and passing game, which makes him game script proof, and he's cleared this in 3 of his last 4 openers. Big workload, big ceiling. And that's why this line of 91.5 going higher than that. Let's recap our plays for today. We have Austin Eckler going higher than 46.5 rush plus receiving yards. Carrington Valentine going lower than 3.5 tackles plus assists. Josh Jacobs going higher than 91 rushing plus receiving yards. Now, I did mention that there was another play from Josh Jacobs that I want to show you that one now so that you can choose whether you want to go with the rushing plus receiving or the second option, which for me would be touchdowns. I believe that Josh Jacobs could also get a touchdown today, which we see is a goblin at minus 137 on PrizePicks. And we can see other reputable sites, FanDuel, DraftKings, Bet365, Hard Rock, even Underdog, all believe this is very probable to happen. and the fact that Washington is ranked 23rd in touchdowns against in terms of running backs also makes this a highly probable play. If you like the Josh Jacobs touchdown line over the rushing and receiving at 91.5, by all means, switch those out. I always want to give you some of the best possible plays. And you can also see that this is a plus EV play on Profit X. If you have that app, that is an option as well. This is one of the reasons why I love Outlier. And again, if you don't have that app, use my code in the description to get a free trial. Let's cash tonight and keep stacking wins. Drop a like if you're rolling with me. Subscribe if you're new. And let's build that